do you find your sense? I think you have to like shoot at a wall and then trace the mark you made on the wall in the range or something. Like shoot at a wall, trace the mark you made, and like there's a video on it in CS or something. Just look it up, how to find your sense CS:GO or something like that. You could use it the same way in Valorant, I think.
In the past, I used to be a disgusting little sense swapper. Like every game I died, quick change sense, you know. I used to always blame it, use it as a crutch. But then when I saw this video from Bang in 2022, I was like, screw it. I'm gonna use this guide and stick with it for months, which, though I thought was impossible, I actually did. It's based on a CSGO video made in 2014, which is based on a Counter-Strike Source 1 in 2008. And I still think it's the easiest and best method to find your sensitivity. People since then have like made videos based on it, but they always mess it up or make it more complicated than it needs to be. So what I'm gonna do is show you the guide, but before I show it to you, you need to understand two things. Okay, the first thing is, though sensitivity is preference, there's of course going to be a range where you're going to find all the pros. Because in a game like Valorant where you're doing all these micro corrections and the better you are, the less you're going to have to micro correct. Of course the low sensitivity can be preferred, but if you go too low, you can't turn from flashes. So you have to find a healthy balance, which to be fair, is going to be only for you because maybe your mousepad size is different to other pros, maybe your arm aim, maybe your wrist aimer, I don't know. This leads on to the second thing you need to know.
The problem is, if you want to copy my settings, you have to have first of all, you need to be my height, you need to have my chair height, you need to have my table height, you need to have my monitor tilt, and then you need to have the height of the monitor. Like there's so many factors that go into like copying someone's settings. Like if you just put 8.5, since I told you, it's not gonna be the same because I'm sitting at a different height, my table is at a different height, like everything is, you know, relative.
Okay, step one. We're going to need a perfect sensitivity calculator for this guide. So either click the link in the description or type this in Google and click this exact link. Okay, this might look confusing. Oh, by the way, if this start sensitivity bar doesn't show, if you refresh the page it'll show up. So once you have it, put 1.8 into the bar you could type into. But that's only if you're 1600 DPI. If you're 800 DPI, you're going to want to double that and write 3.6. If you're 400 DPI, you're going to want to double that again and write 7.2. If you're any weird DPI in between, you could just use like a DPI sensitivity converter to find what number you want to start off with. I'll explain this better at a later step, but just remember, any numbers from this point onwards that you see on this calculator, move the decimal place one place higher. For example, 1.18 would be 0.118. Okay, step 2. Open up the practice range. Maybe pick a good skin because you're going to be here for the majority of the process. Agent choice or crosshair choice doesn't matter. Of course this disgusting crosshair does not belong to me. I'm just doing it to make it more clear for you guys. Okay, step 3. Change the challenge to eliminate. To do this you press F3 and click either eliminate 50 or eliminate 100. It doesn't really matter, we just need to get a bot in the center that doesn't despawn. Okay, remember the PSA calculator? Now it's time to actually use it. If you remember, there were two numbers on the left and right of the 1.8 on the sensitivity table. What we're going to do is test both of these sensitivities. How we're going to test it, I'll show you in a moment, but the process is basically going to go, you test both sensitivities with the method I show you, you pick which iteration is better, higher or lower, and then you keep going 7 times until you find the best one. If you got like a single monitor set up and like you think you're going to forget it, which you probably would, you could just type both numbers into chat so you don't need to alt tab constantly or multiple times throughout the process. Okay, the way you're going to test it is, first you're going to set your sense to either number, it doesn't really matter which one you start with, and as you see, I put the number in and I'm like, wow, this is slow as hell. Remember, your feeling is the most important thing. Okay, so now you're going to AD in a circular motion around the bot and try and keep your crosshair on the bot's head throughout the whole entire tree. Remember, we're all at like different skill levels, so if you're worse than me, it's not going to look as clean as this, and if you're better than me, it's probably going to look cleaner, so it's like, it's mostly feel. How does it feel? How does each sense feel compared to the other one? Which is the most important thing, because the more honest you are, without your biases, the better it's going to reflect on the end result. Okay, so I've got a feel of the sensitivity, I know exactly how much I like it, so now it's time to use the other sensitivity so as to compare. Okay, so now I've tested both sensitivities, it's time to determine if I like the low or high sensitivity better. For me, the lower sensitivity felt a bit too slow, a bit too draggy. I couldn't consistently keep it on the bot's head, so I'm going to go with the high sensitivity for this round. So now we have two new sensitivities, 1.13, which is 0.113, and 3.38, which is 0.338. So now step 5, repeat step 4. We're going to test both sensitivities and once again determine which one is better for us. Okay, so now, after doing this process 7 times of picking higher or lower, I should have ended up with a perfect sensitivity. If you feel like this sensitivity is wrong, you should either do the process again, or if you really wanted to, you could do this process multiple times and then keep averaging the last number that you get, which is the perfect sensitivity. But yeah, I believe this is the easiest method to find the sensitivity. If your friends are disgusting sensitivity swappers like I used to be, you could also just send them this video and hopefully they'll stop. Anyways, thanks for watching.